Service has flourished and retained customers for multiple decades. How? By making our word our bond and delivering the most responsive service and transparent financial details to give our clients the best all-around value in the industry. By not providing cookie-cutter, one-size-fits-all, off-the-shelf solutions. Instead, crafting tailored, customer-centric solutions for each client's individualized business model and needs. By empowering highly ethical, dedicated associates to build true partnerships and mutually beneficial relationships with our accounts. And by cultivating long-term, loyal customers and vendors through each and every one of these guiding principles, and maintaining those relationships with transparent, quality operations. That's why Service has been successful for 50 years, and that's how we'll continue to grow and flourish long into the future. Let us show you why many of our clients have been with us for over 20 years. It's all about the experience, yours and ours.
All right, race fans, welcome. We're here tonight, the Auto Club Speedway, and we definitely got a lot of autos out here and some truck series tonight with the WCIparts.com Sim500 truck series. Well, race 2 of the round of 8 drivers here. 4 of these guys in another couple weeks, actually 2, will go on to Homestead to race for a championship. Man, me and Gael, who's up here in the booth with me, we were talking about it. He's going to go over some points here, but it's going to be tight for those top 4.
Yeah, you can pretty much throw a blanket over them. I said there's no bonus points now going into that next round, so say you just want to get all the points you can here, maximize there on that one, and say Treyetz and Chad Cole, they definitely did that last week, finishing 1-2 at Martinsville. But right now, from 1st to 8th is only 13 points, so I mean it's anybody's ball game still to have a chance at this one here. So right now the top 4 though are Treyetz and Chad Cole, Justin Fuller, and Brian Macklin, and there's only 6 points in between those guys, and then there's 1 point behind him is Tommy Ryan, 2 points behind Brian is Nick Silver, so they're all right there on top of each other. So definitely a lot can happen in this race, and I say it's 27 trucks right now looks like they're going to be in it, and I say it's a big track, a lot can happen here.
Yep, well, let's grid these guys up here right fast there as Chad Coleman puts it on pole, and Justin Fuller's going to be outside, so 2 of the chase contenders right side. J.D. Laird's going to start in 3rd. Chad Cole's going to be there in 4th place. 5th place man Steve Ritter. Trey Edson's going to start in 6th. 7th place there Brandon Bowie. Gail Rourke's going to hit the 8th place spot. 9th place starter Randy Yoakum. And we've got Sean Castro going to be in the top 10 there. So look to the rest of it. The guy was mentioning it's going to be a tight one here for the top 4, or actually 8 drivers, for 4 of them to make it to Homestead. Auto Club usually brings about some good racing. Kind of tough to pass at this place if they get spread out. And I think track position is going to be important tonight.
Yeah, I think track position is definitely going to be a critical one tonight. I think one thing we're going to see, like you said, is they're going to be pretty aggressive, try to get that track position early. And then it's going to just be that momentum, being able to make those passes, complete them, and then having that help behind you to try to see if they can kind of get someone to maybe push you around a truck. Because if you can't complete a pass here, and if you're not in the line with a draft, you're just going to get pushed straight backwards. So definitely got to kind of plan your passes accordingly, and just try to not take more than you need to.
Well, as we get these guys, they're about to pull off the starting line here tonight. Got a lot of great faces out here that we've seen week in and week out here at the Sim500 for the WCIparts.com Truck Series. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Going to be a wild one, I think, here at Auto Club. Like I said, for the first, I'm going to say 10 laps or so. Let's say 10, a little less, maybe more. You're going to go side by side here. Tires start to wear on. That's when that slickness that talking about, that guy is going to come into play. In track position, normally with the lap times here, it get marred back in traffic. It goes green flag for a long period of time. Trying to do some wild pit strategies in order to get back up front.
Yeah, I mean, even just in qualifying, the top 10, or actually the top 11, were all with inside 2/10 of the pole time. So I mean, yeah, they're going to be running real similar lap times. Looks like fuel's going to be about at most probably around that 30 lap mark or so. So it's going to be a two-stop race, no matter how you cut it. So that's going to be another thing to keep an eye on, is if maybe trying some different pit strategy, because again, they can really spread out here at this track. So this is a track where you could do some pit strategy here and try to get some clean air, fresh tires, and see if you can make a difference.
Absolutely. It's getting set to go green flag racing here tonight. Guys about to roll off here as the pace car drops off on pit road. Man up front, JD Laird's going to drop the hammer along with some other guys up there. We are racing here at Auto Club.
Yeah,
Auto Club.
really good start there by Chad Coleman, able to get a couple tenths right off the bat, or a couple truck lengths, I should say, right off the bat on Justin Fuller. And you see right there, Chad Cole immediately gets to that bottom of the track because they're still going to be building up their speed. And so right now, obviously, the bottom is where you're going to want to be, try to see if you can make some time there. From there, though, I think you might see them spread around a little bit. I think the bottom's going to be the preferred line, but you're going to definitely see some trucks moving around, maybe around that middle, maybe third groove. Probably not up by the wall, but you never know. It depends on where everybody else is.
Got to go 2x2 back here with E.J. O'Rourke and company. You got Steve Ritter, Brandon Bowie there. You got Sean Castro, Randy Yoakum in the mix, Brian Macklin, Tommy Bryan. All those trucks back there kind of dicing it out. Battle up front for the lead. Chad Coleman, he's got it. J.D. Laird, he's trying to move in, but you got Chad Cole right there behind him. Those guys up there, they're dicing it up a little bit.
Yeah, so Chad Cole's wasting no time on this start. Started fourth, now already up to second here. Or actually, sorry, started third, already up to second now. As I say that, though, JD gets a really good run off of two. And you see right there, Chad Coleman, he's running that bottom. I mean, he wants to pick up JD Laird. Chad Cole's is competition for him for the playoffs, so he wants Chad, if he can keep some trucks between himself and Chad Cole, that's what his goal is going to need to be on this one.
Absolutely, Chad Coleman out front commanding this one. Behind him, Chad Cole there. Like the low line's coming into play for the moment. I don't think the middle groove eventually will be the place that these guys will venture to as the tires wear on. But you see right there, Justin Fuller. That guy makes it exciting week in and week out. He just drives that truck into the ground until there's nothing left. He's either winning it or wrecking it, and he's definitely right now coming to the front.
Yes, I was checking in the back a little bit. So actually pretty early, some dramas for Brian Macklin. He got a little bit of right front damage, had contact with that 8 truck of Randy Yoakum. So he's got some pretty serious right front damage on that truck right now. So he's kind of at the back of the pack, running the 25th position, it looks like, at the moment. So again, it's early, so he can definitely recover, get damage fixed, and keep moving from there. But that's definitely not a hole he wants to start off in.
Absolutely not. Right now, we just said everybody's going to get single file as the green flag goes on. I said about 10 laps. Actually, it went about 4 laps before it happened. Got to go back here to where about Nick Timms and company, and Tommy Ryan and them. They're mixing it up a little bit to get the Dr. Pepper man out there. Hey, give me a pepper. There you go. What do you think, Gael?
So I'm sure he'll appreciate that sponsor plug and say so those other guys, but. Yeah, I'd say right now, though, you can see they are starting to squirm a little bit more. Those tires starting to just get that little bit of wear. I say this track's pretty rough now, so those tires are probably going to wear pretty quick. Maybe not like a Darlington per se, but it's definitely one where you're going to have to try to keep those tires under you. That way you have something for the long run here. So there's going to be kind of that balance of how much you can push it at this point.
Absolutely, and right now it's still a good side-by-side battle because everybody's kind of single file for the top probably 10 or so. You still got Ryan Howard right there. He's working over Tommy Ryan to the inside to see if he can't get that spot away from him. Behind him, you got Nick Timms and Doey Woods. And the number 93 there, Kevin Brown. Like I said, if you look through the field here, the leader ran a 42.6. You got to go all the way back. Gael, it's almost it's probably just a second separating the whole field. You can put a blanket over.
Oh yeah, no, they're all running really close lap times, all right on top of each other right now. I'd say Chad Coleman's going to kind of have probably slightly worse lap times than the other guys behind him because they've got that benefit of his draft off these trucks. And from that, you can see JD Laird's been actually really closing the gap on him and had a really good chance to try to make a look entering turn 1. Decided just to hold his line. But Chad Coleman right now, he's got his hands full. Justin Fuller as well. Just having to try to make sure hit his marks just right. Otherwise, obviously, that 51 truck's going to definitely try to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Right now, they're just all single file. If one of them makes a mistake, they definitely can capitalize on it up front because they are nose to tail in a freight train there with Chad Coleman leading it, J.D. Laird in second, Chad Cole, Justin Fuller, and Trey Hetson right there. We'll see as looks like Justin Fuller's going to try, but you can already start seeing those trucks getting a little wiggly out of the turns. JD's squirms there.
Yeah, as JD kind of entered, exited a little low, probably didn't have the momentum he needed. And Chad Cole wasn't going to waste any time there. He jumped to the bottom. He's going to try to see if he can complete this pass off of turn 4. Looks like he should be able to slide up there in front. I say now he's going to have the same thing. He's going to protect the bottom, make sure Fuller can't get underneath him. And then let's say I kind of thought he might try to grab the draft of Chad Coleman, but I think what Coleman's doing is he's trying to pull J.D. Laird back up there to kind of make it a little bit more difficult for Chad Cole to complete that pass. Again, trying to keep his competition behind him with some of these drivers that aren't in the playoffs.
We just see J.D. Laird right there fighting that rear end coming out of the turn. He just had to chase. Actually, Justin Fuller, had to chase that thing. Nothing new for him. He loves driving that thing sideways, I think, more than straight. And he definitely is good at it. You talk about the weather out here, race summary, a little bit of info here. We're at a 2-mile track, and it's obviously 4 turns, 66 degrees, 120 track temp. So that's kind of give you an idea of why it is probably a little bit slick out there after a while. These guys are feeling it up front.
Yeah, so whenever the track temp gets up to where it is right now, it's definitely starts making things a little more difficult for you. And yeah, say right now though, Chad Cole's able to get that spot from J.D. Laird, and say he's definitely starting to try to close that gap on Chad Coleman, see if he can get the lead here, try to get a lap led. I mean, again, that's every point's going to matter here. Again, no bonus points now going into that next round because this will be after these next 2 races. It'll be basically whoever finishes the best at Homestead of the 4 contenders. So yeah, so say, but at that, as Coleman gets a little loose off of 4, say Chad Cole's going to try to make that momentum work. So now it's just going to be see where that draft is going to come from. It's going to be really close at the line. I think Coleman held it that lap there, but yeah, it was by 1/100th of a second.
Yes, it is. They're going to go door to door out of the turn there. Chad Cole, Chad Coleman, the Chad and Chad show up front. Those 2 guys, they know each other quite well. That's going to let J.D. Laird company bring it up there. The more they stay side by side down the back stretch, they stay door to door into turn 3. The number 20 is down low for the moment, but the 17, I think he's going to have the momentum going into the turn and maybe out.
Yeah, say he can probably keep that 20 pinned down a little bit. They're being really nice with each other and now keep giving each other a lot of space. Now it's just going to be dependent on where the draft goes. So J.D. Laird staying with Chad Cole, that's going to help him, though Justin Fuller's going to the bottom with Chad Coleman. Chad Cole's able to lead that lap, but say he's got they both have a little bit of help right now in the straightaway, so that's going to make it hard for the 17 truck to pass the 20 here.
Yes, it is. They're still going to go door to door, and behind him you got J.D. Laird, Justin Fuller going to go door to door. This is where you're going to start seeing guys being able to utilize those tires. As up front, Chad Cole takes the lead over Coleman. He'll try to see if he can't move away from this pack a little bit.
Yes, and that's what's going to be interesting. So obviously he was a little bit faster there, able to get the lead. But now, is it something where he's able to, does he have more pace than these guys? Or is it just the draft that was pulling everybody pulling everybody up, I should say, to Chad Coleman? So we'll have to see if that 17 truck, if he's able to kind of build a gap here, or if that draft's going to pull them all right back up to him.
Yes, it is. All of them are just still single file right there. Well, actually just nose to tail. You got a little battle going on still with Trey Hetson there and J.D. Laird and the number 40 machine. It looks like for the moment J.D.'s going to fall off the pace. Brandon Bowie's going to try to take that spot. Shot up the track just a little bit there. As just right now, you're just starting to see these guys lose, I think, the tires here already.
Yeah, I'd say it's about 12 laps or so into that run, and these guys are just about running a second slower than their fastest laps of the race. So, I mean, that just kind of shows you how quick these tires are wearing off. Again, they can go about, we think, 30 laps or so on fuel. So it will be a two-stop strategy. The question is going to be, do they wait till lap 30? Do they try to just, like, divide it that way they can go, like, kind of maximize the freshness of their tires, or what the plan will be there? So I think it's going to be one of those two where once the first driver blinks, you're going to see the other guys follow suit.
Yeah, it is. Got to look back in the back here. We've got, good battling going out throughout the whole entire track. David Comstock back here in 14th. He's out here tonight, making it in the final 8 there, but still trying to win a race and is looking pretty good so far as he's up to 14th, and he's trying to knock them off one by one. Got Kevin Brown, Nick Timms, Jason Jabucky back there. So you got a lot of good names out here.
Oh, trouble
hard
in the front stretch.
Hard back in the back.
Coleman and Fuller actually made contact in the front straight. They're both okay, it looks like. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Trey Edson and Chad
we'll
Coleman
just go back
contact.
on the replay and check it out.
Yeah,
right
let's take a look at the replay there. Yeah, that was the 40 and the 20. I thought it was Fuller, but actually Fuller got around both of them.
Trey Edson looks like, man, just got a little tight. Chad Coleman, same place, real estate. Two trucks trying to take it up right there. Good little contact. Good driving job by them. Unfortunately, going to lose a lot of momentum here coming down through the line, especially Chad Coleman. He's going to fall, kind of all the way back to 12th, but don't look like they got really much damage or anything. But they're 3 wide in front of them.
Yeah, I say Tredson's not going to waste any time trying to get those spots back. But he's got a little bit of right front damage on his truck as well now from that contact. I can't tell on Chad Coleman's, maybe a little bit of left front. Doesn't look too bad. But yeah, saying I believe those guys are actually teammates as well. So again, I mean they're racing each other hard. But yeah, that got a little bit too close there, unfortunately, and that's going to definitely hurt their chances here. Let's say they're kind of in the same boat as Brian Macklin now. I think they're going to need to try to get a yellow at some point to get some of that damage repaired so they can have that arrow they need. Because last week in Martinsville, yeah, it doesn't matter. You can have the whole hood missing if you want to. But here at California, you need all the fenders to be in perfect shape.
Absolutely. With a 2-mile track, draft does play a factor. The biggest thing I'm seeing probably right now is a push-loose condition. You saw right there Trey Edson going into the turn. Looked like the truck pushed up just a little bit. And just to kind of go off of that and let viewers out there that might not know, when you go into the turn, the truck front end just wants to keep going straight and basically towards the wall. So you kind of let off the throttle a little bit, or you back your turn up. Sometimes you might back it up too much. Well, then you got a sense of grip. What happens is you smash down that throttle a little bit too hard. The truck kind of fools you, and then you start getting kind of slick coming out.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky one to do, and it's also one where, like you said, if it's kind of a little tight, you have a lot of wheel cranked into it, but once you get to the exit, that kind of just completely unloads on you, and that's where it really wants to kind of snap around on you. So, but I'll say right now, though, with all that craziness that's gone on, that's actually allowed Chad Cole to kind of sneak a bit of a lead here, just about half a second over Justin Fuller, who's got his hands full now with Brandon Bowie. I say we've seen Brandon run a lot of good races here over the past few weeks since he's joined this league, and he's definitely one that's going to be another driver to contend with tonight and the rest of this season.
Absolutely. And right now Trey Edson is still trying to work it up. He's got back to top 10 along with Chad Coleman. They both have climbed back up to the top 10. You see Trey right there trying to work over the back end of Ryan Howard. He is slipping and sliding a little bit coming out. I think Chad's truck might be a little bit better on the front end side, but to lock back up there, they don't want to get tangled up again and take themselves out of here because they're 2 chase contenders.
Yeah, no, I'm sure whatever it was definitely nothing intentional, but yeah, like you said, it looks like Coleman's definitely has the pace now over that 40 machine, so he's going to take that spot entering 1 there. So move Chad Coleman back up to the 9th position and say, although Trey Edson's getting a really good exit off of 2, he's going to see might be able to do the crossover here. But I think that right front damage is really hurting his top end speed. So I think that's where his kind of where his damage is being done. He just needs to get that nose fixed to be able to kind of push back forward.
Yep.
I was mentioning for the pit stop strategy, if they do take the 2-stop strategy like on the number, it'd be right around lap 25. You'd see him if it stays green, it'd be lap 25, lap 50. That'd be like the kind of, if you want to split it exactly in thirds. So we'll have to see if that's what they kind of try to go with. But as I say that, Brandon Bowie getting around the 51 of Justin Fuller.
Yeah, and I tell you what, right there, you talk about Trey Edson, it's going to benefit him to stay behind probably somebody and stay hooked up on him. That will help that front end damage. We see that a lot of times at the plate track races, but he is losing ground to Chad Coleman right there as we're watching. But still, Chad Cole, the man up front, leading. He's got a good lead of about 7/10, and that's like you said, Brandon Bowie was able to make it around Justin Fuller, J.D. Laird along in 4th. E.J. O'Rourke having a good run. Remember, he's in the round of 8. Count him out. He's up here in the 5th place spot along with Nick Silver and Tommy Ryan. So it's and Chad Coleman right there in the 8th place, and Trey Edson 9th. You've got, we said it before, Gael, in the top 10, it's just going to be a who's game, who's going to get those 4 spots.
Yeah, it's right now, it's too close to be able to call it. And it just, yeah, it's really dependent too on some of the other drivers. Like right now, obviously Macklin's kind of in the worst spot, being in the 20th position right now. He came into it in fourth entering this race in points, so again, he'll have a little bit of a buffer over some of those guys. And again, I mean, we're going to have at least 2 pit stops here, so they're going to probably make some ground up through strategy and all that as well. But yeah, it's like you said, with 7 of the 8 in the top 9, it's, I mean, yeah, you can't miss your marks at all right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, David Comstock pushed old Steve Ritter through the turn and then was able to make the pass on him. As I say that, here comes Steve back on the outside. Just goes to show you how powerful that middle high lane is coming off the turn. Just not a lot of grip off the turn down low.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Is like if you don't have that momentum, they can get right back by you. And like you said, David Comstock's had a really good start to this race. Again, all under green here. We started 23rd position already, now up to the 9th place. So really good progress by him. I think we see some pit strategy starting now. With Trey Edson's going to be one of the first ones in the pits, as is Sean Casto and Ryan Howard. So I say a little early. I said they can definitely make it still from here on 2 stops. So I said I'm guessing right now this is kind of for Trey. It's kind of stop the bleeding, get that truck fixed as much as you can without losing a ton of time on track, and then get back after it here.
Absolutely, and you know, just got to get those tires maybe for Trey Edson. He just kind of felt like it was time for tires. They spun through that grass, you know, used them up just a little bit, but there, like you said, a couple guys going into pit road. Chad Cole still got the lead, about 8/10 out front over Justin Fuller. Brandon Bowie, as Justin's been able to make it back around Brandon again there for the 2nd place spot. JD Laird hangs on 3rd or 4th. EJ O'Rourke still maintaining in 5th. Like I said, he's just been kind of quiet this whole entire chase. Kind of up and down for him, but still in the hunt for that final 4.
Oh yeah, no, EJ's definitely not one to count on by any means. I say now, right now, these guys that just short pit, their goal now is going to have to be, it needs to stay green, because they're all trapped a lap down. Again, they can get the free pass and get the wave around if the caution should come out. However, obviously, they'd rather it cycle through. That way they could be taking advantage of these fresh tires here.
Absolutely. Appreciate everybody tuning in out there. And like what see, hit a like, hit a share, and definitely I know the league, man, appreciate it, because we're live tonight here at Auto Club Speedway with the WCIparts.com Truck Series presented by Sim500. Like a couple green flag stops are underway here tonight as Chad Cole, one of the chase contenders out here for the round of 8, out front leading it along with Justin Fuller, another one there. And just make note here, in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th spot, you got EJ O'Rourke, Nick Silver, Tommy Ryan, Chad Coleman, all chasing themselves on the top 10. But it's far from over with so far.
Oh yeah, no, I say again, some of these guys haven't even hit their first pit stop, so we're not even at that 1/3 mark yet. So I think we're going to be coming up. Yeah, right now we're about to cross line to start lap 25. So this would be right in that window. This is where we're saying dividing up into thirds. It looks like Tommy Ryan, Steve Ritter, they're going to take advantage. They're going to do that split strategy. And that's where, and this is kind of risk versus reward as well for some of these guys like Chad Cole. Is like, well, do I want to pit on my when I plan to, or do I want to maybe wait till the guys behind me pit, then pit that next lap for slightly fresher tires, so I can maybe try to make some passes. It's a risky strategy to do on both fronts. I'll say that's where as I say that, there's trouble in the backstretch.
Backstretch.
And I think that's Trey Edson again, unfortunately. Oh my goodness. So it looks like
see what happened.
Him and the 46 got together.
Yeah, he went up high, going down the backstretch here. 46 was down low up underneath him, and he just
got hooked.
Yeah, it just looks like maybe the spotter didn't tell him he was clear, and those two just kind of just came together on the backstretch, unfortunately. Wow, now the good news and the bad news is lap down. That's unfortunate because he went into that pits early. Now he's able to get in and maybe get some of that damage taken care of, but not what Trey Edson wants to see here tonight.
No, I mean, that's what he talked about at Martinsville, is he just wanted to try to get through these 3 races cleanly and then kind of go after it from there. Obviously, yeah, tonight has not started the way he wants to. Again, we're still early. I mean, he's still got 50 laps to go where he can make stuff happen. But yeah, I think you're right here, Joe, because I mean, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't get the wave around, or the free pass, I should say, just because of the fact that he was involved in the incident. But then, so yeah, I think at this point, don't do the wave around. Your tires are shot again after that spin. just get everything fixed, get new tires, and then just try to race to be that first car lap down, and then or truck a lap down, and go from there. So he's definitely gonna have to kind of. He's got some ground to make up, but I mean, if anybody can do it, I would never put it past Trey.
Absolutely. Gonna wait till Chad Cole comes in here, does his pit stop, and get a word in with him. When we talk about Chad Cole, I'm talking about he's like cool as ice, but tonight, boy, he is just all motor out there, and he's got that thing looking good, trucking in front size. He's coming down on pit road right now. Let him get stopped here, interrupt him. Done that a couple times with some guys, and that's why I guarantee he's going to take 4 tires, though. But he's got a good car, or a good truck, excuse me.
And I got a
Looks
lot
good.
of drivers overshooting their pit stalls there. Chad Coleman overshot his, Fuller overshot his as well. So I think Chad got in his cleanly, which is obviously that'll bode well for him to get that first spot out, which he does.
All right.
And yeah, so it looks like it's close between Fuller and EJ for that second position. So EJ's making really good gains there through the pits as well.
Let's bring Chad Cole up here. Guys in a minute. Chad Cole, Joe White in the booth. You got a copy?
We got you, Joe.
I tell you what, I always say you're kind of cool as ice out there, but tonight, man, you're on fire. You're up front. How's that truck feeling?
She's loose on exit, but just trying to manage the throttle as best we can, and it seems to be working pretty well.
Absolutely. Think you got things going to put her in victory lane?
Yeah, well, trying not to think about that right now. We got about 50 more laps to go, so just trying to stay focused on the task at hand. I have a problem with getting ahead of myself.
No doubt about it, but I definitely know you know how to handle one of these things, so good luck out there, Chad.
I appreciate it.
All right, tell you what, there you go. Yeah, yo, that's Chad Cole, man. I tell you, he just sounds calm when he talks, just doesn't get unnerved, you know?
Yeah, no, and like you said, he right now his focus is the remaining 50 laps or so of this race. He doesn't. And I'm the same way on that one. It's like I always get afraid to look ahead because I feel like you're going to kind of like jinx yourself almost on that situation. So I'm sure that's kind of something that was going through his mind as well there. But yeah, we mentioned those drivers that pitted. So you're going to see a bunch of drivers take the wave around here. I think Robert Gillenwater may have been the lucky dog, or Jacoby. I'm not sure which, but you're going to see Steve Ritter, Tommy Ryan, which is again critical because Tommy's one of the playoff contender drivers as well. Sean Casto, Jeff Ryan, Mike Montezi, and John Mustin Jr. They're going to take that wave round because they short pitted and that caution just caught them all a lap down. So they're going to do that wave round, get the lap back, and say, and that's where actually Trey's going to be in pretty good shape there because he's going to be the only driver 1 lap down. So if he can get a kind of a quick yellow, I mean, he could definitely get right back onto the lead lap there. Or he might just, like we talked about before, even just try to do some pit strategy again. Maybe he runs later than the other drivers. Like what I would do if I was him after the damage is all fixed. Top off on the 1 to go, things like that. Just have that little extra fuel. Just do little different things to kind of give yourself some more options to play with towards the end of this race.
And, you know, talk about Tommy Ryan. He's not in bad shape. He's only got two laps more on those tires out there. So definitely in some good shape. Kind of worked out well. Him and Chad Coleman back there. Brian Macklin said here to go back green flag. Like I said, truck's going to take some wave around here, but I think Tommy's going to be okay. Justin opted to go in, probably get some of that damage fixed. That kept him a lap down, and to get tires. Not a bad move because it's obviously going to put him back out there, like I said, with the lucky dog. Because Doug Sigmund 2 laps down, and we've only got 1 truck out. Unfortunately, Ryan Howard out of the race tonight.
No, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, unfortunately for us, I'm not sure what happened to Ryan there. But yeah, definitely not the night he was hoping for. But yeah, as I say, here comes all the waiver for rounds, I think. I'm a little confused why some of these guys aren't going yet. There they go. But yeah, so I said it's going to put it back in control with Chad Cole in 17. He's going to take the inside line. So I want to see if Trey took my advice, or he didn't take my advice. He stayed out. I say if I was him, I would have topped off, just get a little extra fuel, but it wouldn't make a huge difference. But it's one of those things that I always wind up doing. And he might be thinking too more about track position, where if he tops off in that 1 to go, it's possible he may have had to actually line up behind all those wave around trucks. So, but I say that right front damage is looking a lot better. Still a little bit of a crinkle, but obviously they can't fix it perfectly. So. Now he just needs to try to make sure that he doesn't get involved in anything else here, and just kind of have to hope for the timely caution.
Well, Nick Silver is going to be up front there. Chad Cole's still going to be the man in charge. E.J. O'Rourke's there on the outside, along with Justin Fuller, Nick Silvers. You got some other guys up there. Dave Comstock, Brandon Bowie is getting set to go back. Green flag here. Pace car's coming out of turn 4. Take that hard left turn off on pit road. Duck off and let these guys go back to work. Chad Cole and company up front. He's been a madman tonight and has had control of this field. Pace car's in. That's going to be 30 laps when they cross the line. Green flags in there. We're back racing.
Yeah, really good start there by that 17 truck. EJ waits till he crosses the start-finish line. That way, then he can move down to the bottom. That's going to put EJ down into the second position. You got Justin Fuller there battling with, I believe that's Nick Silver for the 3rd and 4th position. So yeah, so again, you see with these brand new tires, you definitely want to be on the bottom. You don't want to be up top. It's hard to kind of keep that momentum.
Yes, it is. Oh, you got Brandon Bowie right there in that Racing Biz machine and another Racing Biz machine in front of him. Like their teammates out there, Brandon Bowie and David Comstock, but they're doing an outstanding job, 5th and 6th place. Nick Silver, mentioned him last week, and at yes, he has a Coke on Diet Coke, Sprite over that Sprite type Coke. I said it looked like maybe one of those fruity drinks to come out with, and new marketing gimmick by Coke.
Yes, and I did actually talk to David about that a week or so ago, and yeah, so I guess they're basically kind of like corporate teammates in a way. So like, I don't think they're officially part of the actual. I think Aftermath Motorsports is the team that David Comstock's on with Fuller and EJ and them. So I think him and Brandon though are teammates through the through RacingBids.com. So I say they've done a good job on their sponsorship. Obviously picking them some really good drivers. They're making some pretty good speed there. So as I say that though, Justin Fuller is going to try to make a move here on EJ for that 2nd position.
He is going to move him. They might be teammates, and you know, I know EJ every once in a while he's been kind of not in the limelight he would love to be in. Kind of criticized a couple times and not the performance. Just not had, you know, the runs that he's used to having, or we're used to seeing him have. Tonight he's having an outstanding run here, running in 3rd place. He's got his teammate Justin Fuller there in 2nd, so this could be a makeup here, but you got to look behind him. Got a crowd of machines here. Dowie Woods, David Comstock, Brandon Bowie, they're all mixing it up.
Yeah, so we haven't really mentioned Dwight tonight. He's done a really good job moving forward there. He's having a nice battle there with Kevin DeBrown. Say they're fighting right now for that 7th and 8th position. Looks like Kevin might, he's able to clear him in the trial. He's going to take that spot there. And yeah, so right now though, again, we talked about the playoff drivers. Right now they are in the top 4 spots of the 4 of the 8. And I said, I wonder if EJ is kind of doing maybe some tire saving right now as well. Maybe say, you know what, you go ahead, Justin, use your stuff up a little bit. I'm going to try to save my stuff, and then I'm going to make a charge for you after about maybe 10 laps or so.
And we saw this early on before, as you see Nick Silver working over EJ there. Everybody's kind of single file for the moment. You got to go back here to David Comstock there. Kevin Brown's going to be side by side for just a few. We'll see what happens there between those two. But Chad Cole still out front. Justin Fuller there in 2nd. We'll see if Justin's able to run him down. Once Chad was able to get out front, he's able to utilize those tires and race his own style race.
Yeah, that's exactly. If you can kind of get to the lead and then just start setting your own pace, there's something to be said about being able to do that. It depends on the drivers too. Some guys are better at that than others. Like for me personally, I seem to do better when I'm following somebody to hit my marks more accurately and more consistently, kind of basing it off of them. Whereas when I'm setting the pace up front, I wind up usually kind of watching my mirror too much, overdrive the turns and things of that nature.
Absolutely. Well, J.D. Laird's moved back up to 9th right there. He's going to try to work over Dowie Woods, or he's looking like he is. They're a little stacked up. Actually, up here, EJ is a little stacked up with Nick Silver and Brandon Bowie. I think you're right. EJ is either a little off the pace, or he's just being a little conservative right now. Try to see if he can hang on to it. I mean, everybody's lap times, if you look through the field, it's 42.6. You go through, there's only a second separating top drivers.
Yeah, say they're all running real similar a lot of times as we say that right there. Oh, Brandon Bowie makes a little bit of a. I thought he was going to go for it there entering 3. EJ is able to hold on to that position, but you're right though. It's getting a little, probably almost a little bit too close for comfort at this point.
Fine line between a disaster and making that pass, because we've seen it time and time again. These trucks get so tight Now, when you try to put your nose down in there, you can easily get up there and hook the guy in front of you. Not meaning to, but it can happen. Justin Fuller has pulled in on the back end of Chad Cole, and again, well, Justin Fuller, he just loves hanging that thing out sideways.
Yeah, so you had a really good run on him, and then he just got so loose off of turn 2. He had to kind of gather back up, lost about a truck length or two on
I
Chad.
done wrecked.
But yeah, no, exactly. I would have wrecked myself too. I say. So he's got really good car control. He's able to, like you said, he's really good at hanging that thing sideways and keeping it under control still. As I say that battle for third, I think Brandon Bowie's got that run he needed under EJ here for that third position. But again, he's going to have to try to make sure he completes that pass, because it just depends on where Nick Silver goes. If Nick sticks with Brandon, he might be in good shape, but if he slides up to the top side behind EJ's going to have a ton of momentum off of turn 2. Oh, EJ just nicks the wall off of 2. Look, truck looks okay. I don't think he hurt anything there, but I say obviously that kind of forced Nick Silver, though. He decided, you know what, I'm going to go to the bottom. That just gives Brandon Bowie just that little bit extra momentum with that draft on the bottom.
Oh, right there that actually when it went around and Brandon Bowie did, that truck kind of got a little bit tight and moved up the track. Didn't get into the side of EJ, but it kind of scared EJ to maybe pull the wheel a little bit. You saw him kind of scrape the wall, not so bad right there with the rear end. Those two trucks was able to make it around him. Now you got J.D. Laird, David Comstock and company back here battling it out, along with Kevin Brown moving up to the field. Dowie Wood still there ninth. And old Nick Timms, Mr. 9 times himself, hanging on to the 10th place spot. And if we got to look for back here in the back, though, Trey Edson, he's still trying to work his way up front to see if he can't maybe get that lap back. Tommy Ryan, though, back here in 21st. And we said it at the beginning of the race, Gael, get marred back here. It's very hard to make track position up.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I'll say definitely right now Trey's just rooting for a caution. I say he's still got a long ways to go. And I'm saying it's not like Chad's really close to lapping anybody right now, so there's still a lot of kind of room to wiggle room on that one. But yeah, I'm a little surprised though about Tommy Ryan not making as much forward momentum. I wonder either he's got some strategy, or I wonder if he's even got a little bit of damage on his truck. I'm taking a look right now. Yeah, it looks clean to me. So yeah, I think maybe he's just biding his time as well. Actually, let me look at that right side. I maybe see a little bit of right side damage there. Yeah, a little bit on the right rear. Nothing terrible, but you never know. Again, with as aero sensitive as these things are, it may be enough to hurt him in that little bit.
Yeah, and he's just so far being back there, 21st position, just making it up, especially with as close as these guys are up here. The battle going on between David Comstock and Kevin Brown right now. And still Chad Cole leading this one. Justin Fuller right there, about a 10th and a half behind. And the best battle on the track here is with Kevin Brown, Comstock, and J.D. Laird. All three of them trucks are really nose to tail and very close.
Yeah, so those are trucks that say they've raced around each other a lot. I'm sure they like to kind of keep things exciting. Like I said, JD and Kevin, wow, yeah, there's a whole bunch of them all right there. I say Nick Timms is in that little battle as well. So yeah, you've got 5 trucks almost kind of like said under a blanket right there.
Yeah, it is a good battle here, and that's actually for the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th place spot. Effectively, some good names involved in there. None of them are chase contenders tonight, but they all would love to win this race. But Chad Cole would definitely love to put this thing in victory lane and give him a huge points boost heading into the, well, we got to say it's going to be the final race of the round of 8. Then we go to Homestead with 4 drivers racing for a championship.
Yeah, so Justin Fuller's going to have something to say about it as he enters turn 3. He might be able to clear him off before it's really close. Chad's right on his, like right at the tailgate. So I don't think Justin's going to be able to clear him. He's not. Chad's going to have a little bit of momentum off before. So you can see Justin's going to go all the way to apron, try to shorten that track as much as he possibly can here. Chad's still able to kind of, they're door to door right now, entering turn 1 again. So it's a really good battle here for the lead. Justin's just about to clear him. So now we'll see if he's able to kind of keep that power down and see if Chad's going to try to do a crossover possible. Oh, it's really close.
Yeah, right there, you just saw him wiggle a little bit, actually dropped the momentum of Chad Cole for the moment, but that actually allowed Brandon Bowie to close in, along with Nick Silver and company. So we're about to have a 3-4 car battle up front, and Chad Cole running back down and get back around him. You know, we always say it looks like Justin Fuller up front might be in trouble with as loose as that machine is. A lot of times he gets himself into trouble with how much he just hangs that thing out and drives it hard. But hey, he's got definitely a fast machine, and he's out front leading.
Yeah, no, he's done a really good job there, hanging on to it and get that lead away from that 17 truck. Because once Chad got out front, we hadn't seen anybody really challenge him for that lead. I say until that time right there. But I say now, kind of the shoes on the other foot. Say that 17 truck's all over the back of the 51. So, saying they've got about, let's see, I'll say about 7 or so laps if they want to kind of split that pit thing in that thirds again. We'll to see if they stick with that number. Or with the way that caution came out, they might stretch it just a little bit further to play it safe, just in case, again, of a untimely yellow. So, but I say now Chad's got Brandon Bowie, though, all over the back of him here.
You know, normally we see Chad Cole. He's one of those, like I said, he's calm, cool. He sits back and relaxes on the tires. It could be a plan of his. Let Justin get up there, run that thing into the ground, let Brandon Bowie go. And usually we've seen that time and time again. He'll let a driver go that might be a lot faster than him. Remember, he's racing for points here. Yes, he would love to win this race, but it's not a win in your ends type scenario here. So all the points matter. And with the problems with some of the other drivers, even though Nick Silver and E.J. O'Rourke sitting in 4th and 5th, with the problems with like Tommy Ryan, Trey Edson and company back there, and Chad Coleman and Brian Macklin, it could be huge for him tonight.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you've got 4 of them right now running 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th, whereas the other ones are 11th, 12th, 18th, and 25th. So, I mean, yeah, at this point, there's really no reason to go too crazy here. Just kind of keep your stuff under you. See if you can either just stay on them, see if they make a mistake, or again, just use the pit stops to your advantage here. I say the problem now where Trey's going to be at risk is you have drivers starting to pit, like Sean Casto just pitted. So it's very possible that he might actually kind of fall out of that lucky dog spot just based on where some of these guys cycle out of the pits.
Yep, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like what you just said, you have to mention with the green flag, he's probably would love to see this thing, a caution fly like now. And that way it would give him the lucky dog and get back on, because it would put it right there in that pit window cycle that we were talking about. I got a feeling, though, if I was the drivers, let's say Chad Cole or Justin Fuller, and so we say that, Chad Cole's back up there battling with Justin Fuller again for the lead. But real quick, as we say that, if I was one of these drivers up front, I'm going to wait at least probably another 5 to 7 laps and try to make it to where it's only about 20 laps to go.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. For sure, at least split it in half again. Maybe even go just that little bit more. But yeah, like you said, though, again, we thought Chad, he's just going to save his stuff and all that. But say he got a really good run on Fuller, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm saying right now he's got Brandon Bowie behind him, so he's got a little bit of drafting help. He just doesn't really have that track position on the 51 truck at the moment. It says he dives it off into turn 1 here. But again, this is where the challenge is, though, is just getting that power down, because as big of a track as it is, he gets a little loose off of 2. Brandon's going to try to take that top line away from him if he can. Yeah, and that's the risk. I say you lose that momentum. That's what opened the door there for that 1 truck. He's going to see if he can get that 2nd position now just because of that.
Absolutely. Lost a lot of momentum right there on the low line. It just, see how the tires just kind of wear out down low, and the truck's just all kinds of loose. Justin Fuller, though, up there, he loses a lot of momentum with the way he's driving. That truck's just all over the place. That's going to allow Brandon Bowie to climb back on his tailgate and actually let Chad Cole get right there along with him. So both of these 3 guys could definitely be battling, and Justin could actually kind of get up there and block a little bit, see when he wants to be in 2nd.
Yeah, so Chad's just dove it in there into 1 and 2, able to make it stick there. He's going to grab that 2nd position back from Brandon. So a really good run there, entering 1 by Chad Cole. Again, we talked about he's actually being really aggressive compared to what we're used to seeing here. You can kind of see what that track position is worth, like we talked about. So I think, let's see with these, as I said, that caution just came out. Take a look, see who was involved.
David Comstock.
42 truck. Yeah, let's see what happened here.
Replay here and let the viewer see what we got. David Comstock just lost it coming out of the turn.
Oh, he got.
And he did.
Actually, it was the 88 truck. Something happened to Jacoby.
Right now, and I don't know what happened to the 88, but let's ride along with the 88 here. Let's go back on the replay and see. He was all kind of wiggly coming off the turn. Yeah, he was actually losing it. He was way down on the apron. David Comstock lost it, and then he came back up, and he's lost it when he came back up the track. And unfortunately, David Comstock was right there, just nowhere to go. Just 2 trucks, same place, wrong time.
So now here's the critical question though. Who is the first truck a lap down? It might be the 10 or the 52 instead of the 40. So that caution may have came out just the wrong time for Trey.
Oh,
So from what I'm seeing right here, I think it's going to be Mike Montezi. He had just made his pit stop, and he's only a couple of trucks ahead of Trey Etzen. So that's going to be a real frustrating spot there for Trey, unfortunately. You're going to see all the leaders come in here, 4 tires fuel, and this should be able to make it to the end on fuel, no problem for these guys here.
oh, absolutely. By the time we get done, but yeah, just a heartbreaker there for Trey because Mike Matessi's going to be the one getting a lucky dog, going to be able to come around just wrong timing. And Trey, he can't afford to take the wave around. He's going to have to go back in, get some maybe the damage, get 4 tires and fuel back out there. Pray that there's another caution out here because we always say cautions breed caution. Here live tonight here, Auto Club Speedway, round of 8, race number 2 of that. We've got one more race after tonight, and then we go to Homestead for 4 drivers to race for a championship for the WCIparts.com truck series here for the Sim500. Been a good one. It's only caution number 2 tonight.
Yeah, I say both cautions come out right at that green flag pit stop point pretty much, where some drivers pitted, some had not yet. Say Fuller's able to hold on to that top spot there after the pit stops, like Chad Cole second, Nick Silver third, Brandon Bowie fourth, and then EJ still hanging on to that top 5. He's having a really good run in that 41 truck, kind of like I said, just kind of staying out of trouble at this point, just been really smart and methodical about his race. So yeah, he's been doing a really good job here.
Oh, absolutely it has, and actually going to look and it on him. Third in with. Oh well. All right. Well, cars go around here. Justin Fuller's going to be the man out front here with Chad Cole sitting in second, Nick Silver there in third, Brandon Bowie the 4th, EJ up in the 5th. Unfortunate man right there for David Comstock, Jason Jacoby. It looks like, wow, is that my bad. I thought that was Justin Fuller going in, maybe top off, but other cars, actually that was Trey Edson going.
Yeah, those trucks look really similar. Yeah, I got fooled by that as well. I think David's gonna be in pretty good shape still here. He looks like his truck doesn't really have much, if at all, any damage. Maybe a little bit on that right front quarter, but not too bad at all. So I think he'll be all right for the remainder of this race as well. And again, that guy's been fast everywhere he goes. So if he needs to kind of limp a damaged truck along, I'm sure he can do it pretty well.
Absolutely, and Justin Fuller definitely out front, leading the way here, along with Chad Cole there in second, Nick Silver up in the 3rd. That's top 3 chase drivers there. That makes it a hard work for guys like Trey Etzen way back in 24, Tommy Ryan in 21st, even for Brian Macklin and Chad Coleman, who are 10th and 11th right now, because E.J. O'Rourke's hanging on to the 5th place spot. Again, only 4 drivers go to Homestead, and right now you're looking. What did you say before E.J. O'Rourke came in here? What position?
EJ came into this one in the 7th position, 12 points out of the lead. I say obviously the 2 that'd be taking the biggest hits right now are Trey and Tommy. And Trey was leading the points going into this, so we'll have to see how that all kind of pans out. But yeah, they're doing. I'd say right now, obviously Chad Cole's been running really well. Justin Fuller, they were second and third in the points respectively coming into this race. I have to say Brian Macklin's had a really good recovery, because he was actually had a lot of right front damage and was in, I think, about the 25th or so position, pretty much right at the beginning of that race, and so he's had to really claw his way back up. Those cautions really benefited him as well. Yeah. So he's gonna right around the top 10 right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then just to get back to what I was saying on the E.J. O'Rourke's part, him sitting in 5th place part right there, definitely is going to make up a lot of ground here tonight to get to that round of 4 going into Homestead. We get set to go back green flag. Even though Justin Fuller, Chad Cole, Nick Silver and company up front, the biggest guy tonight, or actually the big 2 that might take a huge hit, if it was the end, let's say like it is right now, would be Tommy Ryan and Trey Etzen. Fortunately, Trey Etzen's not that he can do unless there's a caution that flies real quick, and he's probably crossing his fingers and toes and hoping it.
Yeah, I say right now Trey just needs a yellow. The only thing he has going for him now is there's not going to be any more green flag pit stops for any of these guys. So as long as he can stay as the first truck 1 lap down, he'll get his lap back, as long as he's not involved in the caution, of course. But yeah, so I think at this point he's in pretty good shape for at least getting that. But again, now the problem is we're approaching just over 20 laps to go, so running out of time to really make a charge as well. That's going to be a whole nother thing that he's going to have to worry about.
Oh, absolutely it is, with the top 3 drivers there being chase contenders all. But you definitely don't want to be the caution, but you'd love to see one come out to get back out there and maybe get some of this track position back. But the pace car comes out of turn 4. Justin Fuller out front. He's going to love it. He's on new tires. Got a lot of, a short time left for the end of this one. Here we go. Green flag flies. Going to love getting out front in front of these guys.
Yeah, really good start there by Justin. Chad's going to see if he can close the door in the bottom. He is able to. Yep, he's able to close the door. Wasn't sure if he was completely clear, not over Nick Silver, but he was able to make it to the bottom there. And that's critical for his chances as well. So we talked about on this first starts and everything, you do not want to be on that top side. You pretty much are guaranteed to lose at least 1 or 2 spots there. So really good start there by that 17 to make sure you didn't lose any spots. So again, you got the top 3 right now are all playoff contenders with Fuller, Cole, and Nick Silver.
Absolutely. They went 3 wide for the moment. They're 3 wide behind them there with Nick Timms and company along with Doey Woods. You got Brian Macklin. He understands the urgency here. He's got to get up here and make track position up early on because it will neutralize as the tires go on. They are definitely dicing it up back there, but Justin Fuller still leads it. Chad Cole there in second, Nick Silver to third, Brandon Bowie to fourth, EJ O'Rourke to fifth. He just got his hands full with Kevin Brown going door to door.
Yeah, I was saying the biggest fan of 3 wide racing right now is going to be Trey Edson. He's like, yeah, come on, guys, get real aggressive here. I need something to happen. But yeah, I say Kevin's kind of made steady gains through this race. I say he kind of started around mid-pack around the 19th position, but he's kind of slowly but surely made his way up forward. To say he's been racing pretty hard with, like you said, guys like David and JD and them. As I say that, Chad's got a good run off of turn 4. He's going to take a look inside that 51 truck, see if he can get the lead here.
That's it. Chad Cole's going for the lead. Chad Coleman's trying to get around Nick Timms. Got battles up front, middle, and the back of the pack here all over the track. These guys, men, are not giving an inch here on this one at Auto Club. Getting down to the closing laps. 20 to go here tonight. Tell business is starting to pick up. Nick Silver, boy, he could be the spoiler here and get up here. He's like, you guys get up there and battle, and I'll just go shoot right past you.
Yeah, I'll say Chad tried to make a dive there entering 1, but man, if Justin lifted, it didn't seem like it was very much because he just made that topside work there. He really had a ton of momentum and just was able to kind of hang on to that lead there. So really good job there by that 51 truck.
Absolutely. Got J.D. Laird moving his way back up front there with Kevin Brown and company. Joey Woods having an outstanding run. Now, we just talked about Chad Coleman and Brian Macklin. Those 2 right there swapping positions. That's 2 chase drivers in the 10th and 11th place spot. Crucial for them to get up here because EJ's still hanging on the 5th. And the top 3 guys, well, they're all chase contenders there. Justin Fuller, Chad Cole, Nick Silver. Brian looking back on the inside. It's a good battle between those 2.
Yeah, I say Nick Silver's taking a look inside of that 17 truck there entering turn 3. Not able to make anything happen of it, but again, they've kind of single filed out here, but you can really see, though, any little mistake you have, these guys are going to try to jump all over it here. So I'm saying towards the back there, I think I see some more 3 wide going on.
Yeah, a lot of 3 wide racing going on back here. That's Jason Jabucky. And you got Richard Swavely. Is that right?
I don't know if it's
Swavely. Yeah, something like that.
I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, we'll bring it for right now. But Richard out there doing pretty good. He's in the 18th place spot. Steve Ritter right there in front of him. Jeff Ryan, he's up in the 16th. Sean Castro right there. And he's in the 15th spot. So all them guys definitely, like you said, mixing it up a little bit. Jason is actually on good new tires. Again, Justin still hanging on to the lead. Chad Cole right there, Nick Silver. So we're getting close here to about 15 to go.
Yeah, I'd say they're all kind of like you said, running real similar times. Fuller ran a 4:50, Chad ran a 4:60, Nick Silver a 4:27, Brandon Bowie a 4:13. So I mean, those top 4 all within like half a tenth of a second of each other, and that's what we talked about. These times, lap times, are going to be really close to each other, and it's showing right there. And we talked about Tommy Ryan. He's made a really good charge on this restart. He's already up to the 13th position. We talked about him being kind of mired back in traffic there. So I mean, he's already gained a bunch of spots from where he was at that caution. So really good job of that 99 truck as well.
Crucial for him because he's right there behind Brian Macklin or closing in on him, and those are chase contenders along with Chad Coleman and company. So again, you're right. Tommy Ryan coming out of a hole here. So the major man right now, Trey Edson, not a lot he can do. He is 24th, can't go any further. He could probably go 1 or 2 back, but that's about as close as he's going to get right now. As we're going to click on over to be 15 laps to go in this one. As we're going to see if Tommy, though, he is closing in on those guys. It's a next couple laps. He's going to think about maybe at least getting crack that top 10.
Yeah, see, EJ's got a battle on his hands right now for that 5th position with Kevin DeBrown. And right behind them, you got JD Laird, Doy Woods. Let's say so they're all a big part of this as well. And again, this is going to be where kind of Kevin's going to have to make sure that if he's going to make this pass, he's got to get around him because EJ's going to have that momentum on the exit. As you say that, here goes JD going to that top side, and this is going to be exactly the opposite of what Kevin wants to see because you're going to see there goes EJ starts pulling. Oh, caution's out.
Nick Timms around. Go back on the replay and see that happened back there along with Brian Macklin, Chad Cole, and you can see that's the number 30 there. He was on the inside, Brian Macklin, and looks like Nick Timms got a little bit wiggly coming off the turn, and then just spotter might have said clear. He came there, and they both tried to take the same real estate. Got hooked. Fun.
You wonder if these spotters are having trouble tonight. That's the second time they're on the backstretch. They just literally that driver on the outside just got hooked. I mean, I don't know if maybe they're clearing themselves and they just aren't judging the nose of the truck very well or something. But yeah, that's the second
slight.
time we've
it's
seen
not
that happen.
Much there, Gaio. It's really slight.
Yeah,
that
it's
they're
close.
Clipped. Yeah.
However, the happiest man on the track right now is gonna be Trey Edson. That should get him his lap back here. And then say now he can get get new tires on it and whatever he wants to do adjustment wise again, because they can make it on fuel here. But now the question is, do you want to add a little bit of fuel for the balance? You want to leave some of it out? Because and again, this is also going to be, are you going to stay out or are you going to take tires? I think you're going to see tires here. 4 versus 2 might be a big question as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good question. Because there's still enough time to go. I'd say they've still got about. They'll probably restart with about 10 to go.
I think Trey would benefit with 2.
I would say he would, but he's going to have to take 4 just because of the fact that he's getting the wave around, so he's going to be behind all these guys anyway. So might as well just get the freshest tires. But yeah, up front though, I'm curious to see if anybody tries a strategy here, or maybe like around Coleman, Macklin, Tommy Ryan. They're kind of towards the back of that top 10. That might be a strategy for them to take as well.
Well, we've seen this track play out in the past. Track position can be key because if they take 2 and they get a couple other guys to take 2, and even if a couple guys behind there take 4, the guy out front usually benefits the most from that. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys do. If anybody does the 2 tire stop, let's see. Somebody does. No, looks like everybody took 4.
Yeah, so it looked like a lot of 4 tire stops there. I'm looking through. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody wanted to give the 2 tires a try there. Looks like they pretty much held serve on the pits. I'll say Fuller's going to still come out with the lead. Chad Cole second. Brandon Bowie's, though, up to 3rd. I think that gains him a spot or so. I think the one that hurt the most on that pit stop cycle is Nick Silvers. He was running 3rd, I believe, on that cycle, right? Yeah, he's going to fall back to 5th here, so definitely not the pit stop he was looking for.
No, I just had a 14.7, and it definitely was off from those guys up front, but definitely got time to make up for it. EJ right there in the 4th place spot, Nick back in the 5th. Well, it's going to be interesting to see because this is the kind of race that Justin likes. He's new tires, going to have, excuse me, back on him here. He's going to have close to 10 to go. It's pretty much he can run that truck almost wide open or close. He can just run the wheels off of it like he likes to do. Chad Cole's going to have to be out of his comfort zone a little bit here and try to run with Justin if we have any hope. Or at some point, just say, you know what, come out of here with a good points night.
Yeah, so it's going to be definitely a risk versus reward type of a situation here to see what they're able to do. I mean, we've seen Chad. He's been pretty aggressive in this race. He's tried to make some moves on Justin, just hasn't been able to make it happen there. But yeah, like you said, though, I mean, Justin's really good on fresh tires, and when you can kind of just almost like do qualifying laps for a handful of laps there. So he's going to be a tough one to beat. He always is. He's a tough one to be able to get around there. He's always been fast. And like I said, we don't have the benefit of a long run to maybe see if we can get him to get that truck a little looser. So, yeah, there's going to be some pretty good competition between those guys. But say, and again, you're still going to have Brandon Bowie, EJ, Nick Silver. They're all going to be going after it.
Yeah, Brandon's right there too. He's looking at, hey guys, I understand y'all in the chase. I'd love to win a race here though, before the season ends up, and you got EJ and Nick Silver. It'll be interesting to see between those two what's going to happen. Is EJ going to be able to just stay in front of Nick and capitalize on Max point here? You got JD Laird, Kevin Brown there, and Doey Woods. Tommy Ryan, don't count him out. He is able to muscle his way back from way back in 20th some position all the way back up in the top 10 there. Brian Macklin, Chad Coleman. It's going to be interesting to play out here, because when we go back green, it's going to be 10 to go here, Gael.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure we're going to see Justin take the bottom on this restart, although he's looking like he wants to take the high line. I'm a little intrigued by that. Maybe it's because he's got EJ starting in 4th position. Waiting to see if they take, yeah, it's the one to go. Yeah, Justin's going to take the top side. That's going to be, he's going to have to make sure he gets a really good restart here, because we've seen that bottom is where you want to be in 1 and 2. I'm thinking he probably feels like he can get a really good start and be able to clear Chad entering 1. And I think what he's doing here is to try to help his teammate EJ there in the 41 truck in 4th position. Maybe help him gain a spot or so on maybe on Brandon Bowie, or again, if he can get to the outside of that 17 truck as well. I mean, that's going to be something for Fuller to have as well. Maybe have a little bit of a teammate to help him out.
Count down the start. I mean, that's pretty good right there. Like I say, they're going to be nose to tail. Justin will be able to sit right there, count down the start when he could go, because it is, leaders, right or prerogative, whatever you want to call it, to go once that pace car drops off, at any time that he can go from that point. So he could call it down and say, okay, EJ, here we go, 3, 2, 1, go. And those two can jump out front. Again, the only rule I know of is you can't pass the leader before the start line. Well, you're definitely not going to pass the leader before the start finish.
Yeah, no, and that you're exactly right. At Sim500, the leader has the control of starts and restarts, so he can go pretty much as soon as the pace car is off the track entering pit road, or wait all the way until the flagman waves it. So I'm sure he's going to go early here. The question is going to be how early.
Literally, pace car's in. We're going to see here. Is going to count it down. Justin Fuller going to get a good run, and I think up front, yeah, that's exactly what they did. They both went at the same time. Caught it right there. Teammates working together. Nothing wrong with it. They're going to shoot by for the moment past Chad Cole. I don't know if he's going to be able to get down, though, because Chad Cole's going to fight back to the inside.
Yeah, say Fuller definitely had to take that arc there in entering 1, which is going to be a nice way for him to enter that turn. He'll get a lot of momentum on exit. So as EJ gets a little squirrely off of 2. Chad's got a big push here from Brandon Bowie. So it looks like he's going to stay in line, which is definitely what Chad needed to see happen here. So I think Chad's going to be able to clear EJ entering 3, and then that's going to be able to have him open the door here and see if he can then set his sights back on Fuller there. Say as you're going to have a really good battle here for that 3rd and 4th position with Bowie, EJ, and Nick Silver.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to take it almost 3 wide right there. Nick says, I got to make up time somehow, some way. Brandon right there is going to crawl in the line with him, but it was a good plan by the 2 top teammates there, and it worked out for the moment. Just EJ had to drive that car off the turn, lost a lot of momentum. Now he's fighting out with Nick Silver door to door behind him. JD Laird, he would love to make up a lot of ground here and maybe get up front. Justin Fuller still has the lead, but he sees Chad Cole in his rearview mirror. Does Chad have enough to run him down? Here comes Nick Silver. He's coming to the front.
Yeah, I really like the line Fuller's running right now. He's getting a really nice arc entering 1 and 3, and that's really giving him a lot of exit speed, because he can actually do that right now. He doesn't have to protect the bottom like some of these other guys are having to, because he's got, again, we talked about, he's got about 2-3 tenths of a second gap over Chad Cole, and you can just tell by the way that he's able to drive it. He can kind of get it enter it exactly how he wants to. So, yeah, right now the 51 did a perfect restart there. And he's been able to maximize that as well, but just kind of running that turn the way he wants to. Like you look watching 3 here, you'll see how he enters a little bit later. Say Chad's entering still a little shallower. He stayed up a little higher that time. But Fuller's getting a really good arc entering turn 3, and that's helping his exit off of 4. However, of course, there's only so much you can do when you kind of have all that drag on your truck, helping pull those other trucks around you.
Absolutely, and Justin Fuller out front doing an outstanding job. Chad Cole there and sitting in second. Now Chad sees Nick Silver moving in. You just see right there, Chad drove it into the turn harder that time as he's closing in the gap on Fuller. He's utilizing going in hard to turn, letting that truck drift coming out. Beautiful line. Both of those top 2 trucks are using, but also Brandon right there too, as Nick is falling off the pace. We got a 3-truck battle for the lead.
Yeah, saying that's the problem for Chad. Is it's kind of it's a risk versus reward. He wants to try to make a move on Justin, but if he does, it opens the door for Brandon to kind of jump to the outside of him and maybe pin him down on the bottom. And we talked about how important the momentum is here. So you're gonna see there's gonna be a lot of strategy played in how you want to race this, because again, Brandon's he knows these guys are in the playoffs, but he wants to win. I say he's got racingbids.com on the truck, and he wants to have a good run for them as well. So. He's not going to just roll over for these guys.
The biggest thing is Justin Fuller's running the line that Chad Cole needs. Chad can go to run on his back tailgate right there. As you see, Brandon Bowie finally going to try to go on the inside. He's going to see if he can do anything with Fuller. And you see Chad Cole, he understands the situation. Go ahead, you're a lot faster there, Brandon. I'm in a playoff run here. I need to maximize points. Don't want to wreck this truck by racing for just a spot here, as he's still sitting in a good position. So we'll see what Brandon can do. But what I was saying is Justin Fuller is running the line those guys need. Every time that Chad was able to pull up on his back tailgate, he couldn't do anything. He was there. He couldn't, if he altered his line, like you said, then he had to worry about the other drivers behind him.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. Okay, Brandon got to his inside. He was able to roll out, let Brandon go, and then still fall back in line in that 3rd position ahead of Nick Silver. So it's kind of like, okay, you know what? You go battle Justin. I'm going to see what you're able to do. And then maybe based on that, if he gets pinned to the bottom kind of thing, Chad can then sneak to his outside, maybe steal that 2nd position back. Or say, this is definitely not something I'm hoping for, expecting to see. But it's like if they do by chance make contact, maybe he can capitalize on that. And we've seen it before where drivers make contact towards the end of the race and you kind of sneak a win in there.
Absolutely, you're right there. Justin Fuller still out front. Now, Brandon's able to close in just a little bit on his back tailgate, but he's not able to make that move. He's got a good run coming off the turn. You see the block. Now, Justin Fuller's playing a tough game here against a guy who has nothing to lose. And, man, I tell you what, right there, well, you better hope Brandon don't get back to his back bumper, and I think it's a little bit too late there. But, boy, that is a risky move to be doing as a chase contender to a guy who, well, really has nothing to lose.
Yeah, that was a really close call there. Brandon had a really good run there and took it to the inside. I say Fuller put the block on it, but again, we're coming down to about 3 to go, I think, right now. So he's doing everything he can to win this race, get max points, and that's just. He knows he's in the playoffs and he wants to get as many points as he can, but at the same time, as he gets really loose off too, he's going to open the door again.
I think, what Chad's going to be close right here as he goes for a block, and Chad Cole says, not this time. He bumps him and he moves him out the way. Chad Cole says, we're in the same situation here. Both of these guys, I would not expect this kind of aggressiveness out of them, but they are digging, and they are door to door for the lead. They're going to come across the line with 3 to go, and he's almost spun him.
It's not done yet.
Oh, what a race. Yeah, they're not done. I'm going to tell you, we still got 2 laps to go here.
Yeah, so that was. I'll have to maybe look at the replay. So I don't want to say anything. Oh,
truck around.
Sean Casto around, yeah.
That's going to pull caution. We're going to a green-white check. And, folks, I'm going to tell you, it's gotten wild. We're going to have to break down what has happened here. First off, let's go see what happened to Sean Castro real quick. He went in there. Justin Fuller fell all the way back, and Justin Fuller just run him over. I think Sean might have just checked up a little bit, know where to go. Justin got it back in. And, don't want to say he just ran him over on purpose, but got into him nonetheless. But, wow, let's recap on this. Calm down since we got a little bit here to go. Justin Fuller, up front leading this thing. Threw a block on Brandon Bowie. A wild one. You wouldn't have thought a chase driver would have done it, but like you said, he's going for the win. He wants to win it. That one worked out well. Chad Cole, though, says, not today. and bumped him almost out the way. Got him a little wiggly. They were side by side. And then looked like Justin was going to throw another block on Chad, and they made contact. Didn't wreck, but it was enough to get him off his pace, and man, it jacked the whole field up.
Yeah, so I went back and I looked at it again. So I'm pretty sure. I think what happened there was, I'm pretty sure Justin was probably expecting Chad to go all the way to the apron, entering in the trial. Chad had held his line on the kind of right at the white line of where the banking and the apron kind of transition. And so I think probably Justin's expecting to see Chad go all the way to the white line there to the grass, I should say. But that obviously didn't happen. So I think you're going to see, I'd say it's about a 10 lap run here. So I think you're going to see pit stops. Again, this is going to open up. Oh, there's going to be a lot of
I
fakes.
ain't
Yep,
coming
a lot
in.
of fakes.
Yeah,
JD Laird
yeah.
is, and I think I saw Kevin DeBrown. Let's see who else is pitting here. So I say it could be it's.
You know who puts in a good spot here, though,
Edson.
Gael? EJ O'Rourke. He's going to be sitting there in second place.
Yeah, the question is going to be now is going to be which line what line Brandon Bowie takes, and B, if he's going to try to work with anybody here, because Chad's got a little bit of right front damage. I don't think it'll be enough to make things too bad for him. But yeah, so I say a lot of the playoff drivers all stayed out here. Say the problem for Justin Fuller is he's only got one truck as a buffer with Steve Ritter. And then behind him, everybody's going to be on, I believe, it looks like it's going to be 4 tires here.
This Trey Edson has moved back up to the 14th place spot, 16 right now. But from what would have been a disaster night for him, he's actually going to capitalize a little bit. But the story right now, Gael, like we've been talking, is Justin Fuller, Chad Cole, and a chaotic, wild scene up there. We're obviously going to have a green-white checkered here, but Justin back in ninth. He's going to try to come through like a madman to get as much as he can back here. Dominated this race. But up front, it's risk versus reward, like you said. And he was risking a lot. You saw Chad earlier. Remember when Brandon Bowie got up on his back bumper? Well, Chad said, go ahead, you're a lot faster. Justin, though, hey, we've said it before. He's a lot more aggressive, and he wants to win. That's a racer's mentality. I get that. But at some point, you got to look at that big picture. You're only going 4 drivers are only going to go, and you're only going to have one more race to be able to make that cut line there to go to Homestead.
Yeah, and like you said, it is a really big risk versus reward, and but at the same time, I mean, it's hard. You want to win the race too, and it's a really tough balancing act there. So, yeah, we're gonna have to really see what's gonna happen here. I like the strategy for some of these guys pitting, like JD Laird. He only lost 3 spots out of that whole cycle there, so he pitted in the 8th position. Now he's in 11th, but he's got brand new tires. So should they be able to get to the white flag, he's gonna have a lot more grip in that 46 machine. He may not be able to get to the win, but he could easily, instead of finishing around that top 8 position or so, he could easily find his way up into the top 5 or so and kind of play spoiler for some of these playoff drivers. Maybe cost him a few more spots.
Tommy Ryan, you were talking about it right there. He definitely has capitalized on a lot of mistakes and a lot of these cautions. He's up to 6. Chad Coleman, Brian Macklin, Justin Fuller. And that's what makes it so hard right there. Even though Trey Edson's back in 16, he's made ground for Justin Fuller to make it so hard. Yeah, he's dominated tonight, but if he don't make up any more ground, all those chase contenders in front of him, Brian Macklin, Chad Coleman, Tommy Ryan, Nick Silver, Chad Cole, EJ, all in the top 10 up there. It's just going to be that much more tighter going into next week at Phoenix. But we said it. Brandon, he wants to win. He's out front right now. He's got a shot at it.
Yeah, so he's had a lot of good runs lately. I say he's had a few interviews, but none on the top step. So, I mean, that's going to be obviously where he wants to be. And again, it's I feel like it's only been a matter of time for him. So his goal here is going to be to get the best restart he can, make sure he doesn't get kind of pins with EJ or anybody on his outside. That way he can get that clean exit and then kind of control the field, because with it being a green-white checker, and again, if a yellow comes out, or if they crash before the white flag comes out, that's going to be it. There's only one attempt here at Sim500, so it may be another thing. He might be rooting for a quick yellow here just to help his cause out, whereas some of those guys that pitted, they wanted to go all the way to the end, especially Trey Edson. He's got fresh tires on that truck. He wants to see how many more spots he can gain to kind of minimize the damage from those earlier incidents that he had on that 40 truck.
And like what you just said, you touched on it. There's only one attempt at the green-white checkered. So if there is let's say it goes green and there is a quick caution, it is over with at that point. But two, if they do catch the white flag and there's half the field gets wiped out behind them, there's no caution. They will race it out all the way to the end then. So either way, there's pretty much two ways that this thing could be over with or kind of end it. They're going to end it under green or they're going to end it under caution. So we're getting set here to go back green flag racing. Brandon Bowie and EJ, I know he's like, man, can I get a good start?
Yeah, so this is where EJ might even have to consider trying to time his restart a little bit, just risk jumping in a little bit just for the chance of having something. Because I mean, you saw what happens if you're pinned up top. It's just there's not much you can do. And one thing we didn't mention is I'm not sure on these trucks, but they got to be careful about tire wear or tire spin on this restart too, because they've been on these things for about 15 laps. Track's loose, but we're about to find out.
That's it. Pace car's in. Here we go. Brandon up front. Definitely got to take it easy. If anybody going to spin the tires, everybody gets a pretty good start. Joey Woods didn't get going like he wanted, but they had to start so slow because you're right with the tire wear. And here we go, up front.
Yeah, it was a perfect start there for Brandon. EJ had a really good start as well. He's able to clear Chad Cole, get to that bottom line. That, again, we talked about how critical that was not to get pinned up top there. So really good job by him in that 41 truck. I'll say as Chad Cole, I think that damage is definitely hurting him in that 17 machine. You got Nick Silver looking to the inside of him.
I'll tell you what, watching the back here because J.D. Laird's got 4 tires. He's taking a 3 wide coming to the front there. They're 3 wide in front with Chad Coleman there along with them. They're 4 wide coming out of the turn. Woo, almost 5 wide.
Now, can they get to the start-finish line? They can, so it's going to go to the end
it's
here.
Over.
One spinning
yeah,
in the
back. It's going to be over with, man. Here, they're going to race it on to the thing. Like you said, one truck spinning.
Yeah, but they're going to race it on here, so this is where I'll say they just need to try to stay. Oh, there's trouble in the back. Can't tell who they're able to hang on to it. But yeah, they're all over the place. He's just trying to see if he can catch Brandon. But yeah, right now the craziness is in the back.
Don Runkle, they're 4 3 wide back there. But you got to look. Brandon Bowie though coming out of the last turn. Can EJ pull it up? EJ's got to be screaming. He's loving the finish, but it looks like Brandon's going to win it. Yeah, they're wrecking all kinds of tearing them up. We'll go back and look at that.
They're about to wreck them more. Tommy Ryan.
Brandon's going to win this one. We're going to go back on it, man, because we're going to have to. There's so much was going on.
There's a lot to go over there. But the key thing is Brandon Bowie wins here at Sim 500. I believe this is his first Sim 500 victory, so really, really good job by him there. EJ O'Rourke finishes second. Nick Silver gets third. Trey Edson somehow finishes fourth.
Well, listen. Tommy Ryan actually got caught coming out of the top out of turn 4 and got spun. He's way back in 21st. Brian Macklin, man, didn't end up where he needed to, but it was a lot of chaos happening.
Yeah, that crash that brought out that last yellow changed everything. I mean, Trey Edson, he's the biggest fan of that. He was in, what do we think, about 16th or so, and he finishes 4th.
Absolutely. Let's watch Chad Coleman right here. Was 3 wide in the turn, and Kevin Brown and company got collected, and then Chad Coleman nowhere to go, and then Justin Fuller made it through it coming out of turn 4 there, but watching that last wreck that you were seeing coming out of turn 4, just some chaotic events here to play out. But like you said, Brandon Bowie going to burn them down here tonight and win it. Folks, I'm going to tell you, this was a wild one.
Yeah, that was definitely not the finish I expected there. I mean, it was a really good battle there between for the lead there at the end, and just, kind of got a little bit hectic at the end, but that's kind of what those last lap restarts do when you have those green white checkers, just everybody kind of turns it up a notch. Definitely going to shake the points up a bunch. I'll say Chad Cole's not going to be happy about finishing 6th. However, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, that's about as best as you could hope for, really. Say he led laps, Fuller led laps. I'm not sure if any of the other playoff contenders did, though. So I mean, that's gonna be one bonus point for them above those other guys as well. So yeah, man, what a crazy finish.
What a wild one. Yeah, I mean, just so much went on there at the end, and like you said, as far as Chad Cole goes, it could have been a lot worse than what it was because he almost got caught up in that wreck. Justin Fuller was able to just slide through there. But let's bring up 3rd place man Nick Silver, and let's get a word with him.
Yeah, Cup here with a 15 truck of Nick Silver. Well, I'll say that went from a pretty exciting finish there with those big battles there for the lead to just outright craziness there with that green-white checker. Take us through your night leading up to that point, though.
Oh boy, I don't know. It started off pretty smooth and pretty uneventful, which I was totally cool with. Sorry about that. Anyway, I was pretty content where I was near the end there in about third place. But then, of course, we got those rashy yellows and a lot of close calls up in the front. I was just really trying to keep her clean and bring her home.
Well, so you were able to definitely keep it clean there. Say, despite all the craziness going on around you. I say, did you have any thoughts about trying to maybe pit there at the end, or you were on track because the track position was just too critical?
Yeah, the issue is, we only run one green-white checker, and I've been screwed many a times thinking I could pit and make up the ground on fresh tires just for the yellow to come out immediately after we cross the line. So I thought about it for a second, but then I got to think about the chase and try to maximize my finishing position.
Yeah, I was gonna say the playoffs is a really good thing to bring up. But let's say finishing third here tonight, say that's gonna obviously be really good on the points front there. I say you weren't doing a too bad position. You say you're only 9 points out of the lead. I say, and I haven't checked to see if they've updated. They're usually pretty quick on it, so I'll have to take a look here on my end. So apologize, not up yet. But yeah, so we'll have to see how the points shake out on that one. But yeah, I wanted to give you. I say that being said, I wanted to give you any opportunity for some thanks and shouts you'd like to give for your run tonight.
Well, I gotta thank WCIparts.com for sponsoring this series, allowing us to put on a good show. You guys for broadcasting that show to all the people out there, doing a great job of that. Gotta say thanks to Sean and Brandon, my teammates. They really helped me out, make me better, and big congrats to Brandon on his win. I know that's been a long time coming. And then finally gotta say hi to my mom and dad watching at home.
Now, say we were talking about trying to figure out if Brendan had teammates or not. So it's good to know. So he's with you and Sean. So we'll definitely have to keep that in mind for the future ones. And yeah, really awesome that your parents are able to catch this broadcast. And say always, I'm sure they'll be happy to see you get that top 3 finish here tonight. And yeah, say so. Any thoughts about how you're feeling about next week over at Phoenix?
Well, I got to check the points when we're all said and done. But I was not feeling too confident after Martinsville last week, but I'm feeling a little better this time. I think I just need to survive and maybe get a top 10, top 5, and I'll be all right.
All right, sounds good. So there you have it from your third place finisher in the Chevrolet Silverado number 15 machine of Nick Silver.
Absolutely. Let's bring up second place man here, EJ O'Rourke, and I tell you, this guy's got to be ecstatic. He made it through all that mess, and he was able to come up here in second.
Yeah, Cup here with that 41. Say got the WCI Parts on the hood. Let's say WCI Parts as the primary sponsor of the series as well. Really good run for you tonight, EJ. Say anything different you would have done prior to that last caution and just overall, I'll say. But take us through your race. That was a pretty exciting one from where you were sitting.
Yeah, well, being stupid or making a desperation move in a position I was in would be kind of silly, knowing those chase guys are behind me. I don't like settling for 5th or 4th, but if I crash going for 3 more points, then I'm out of it. So I'm still alive. So we'll see how it goes next week in Phoenix.
I say, did you have any strategies on that one? It looked like you're definitely trying to kind of save your stuff early on in the run and then make those charges towards the second half of the tire run there. But man, just those last few laps, let's say with Fuller and Brandon and Chad, it was getting pretty dicey out there. Did you? I say we're just kind of getting ready to react to go where you needed to not get caught up in anything.
Yeah, I hate practicing. I hate coming in here 2 hours before the server goes up and cutting laps. I like to just try to figure it out by halfway in the race and get going. But it makes it tough getting in these playoff races where everybody is on their A game. So I don't know. Fuller was dancing around up there and he was complaining about the draft, but it was pretty strong when you have 45 miles of straightaways. So him and Chad Cole and Trey were real fast and. Well, it was probably like a 4th or 6th truck, but see how it played out. if I had a little bit better one or two, I might have won.
Yeah, so you did have a really good restart there, able to get to the bottom on that restart, because we talked about being up top was definitely something you did not want to have happen when you're right on that first restart. But yeah, I mean, really good run though for you. So able to come home second place. Obviously, definitely a really good points night for you going into Phoenix. But yeah, they definitely want to give you an opportunity here for any thanks and shout outs you'd like to give though.
I do want to give a shout out to WCI Parts. I appreciate them being with me all season. Hopefully we can get another championship with them like I did 2 years ago in 2 weeks. So we'll see. We got to make the final 4 round first, so that is goal number 1. But congratulations to Bowie on his win, and this is also Gary Mercer Trucking's home track. You can zoom out of the game and the sim, and you can see their headquarters in Mississauga, in California. so that's Gary Mercer Trucking's home track. So it's pretty cool to give them a P2.
Sounds good. Really good run there for you, EJ. Say we'll catch you definitely next week in Phoenix, and really good run tonight. Saying that number. Say I lost your number here. Where'd it go? 41. WCIparts.com. Chevrolet Silverado. And saying we'll catch you next week, EJ.
That's right. Chevy Silverado, baby.
All right, tell you what, there you go, man. Second place. Good to see him have a turnaround and come out here and have a good finish tonight. But this guy, he was there all night. Brandon Bowie, Joe in the booth, got a copy?
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
Well, I hope somebody was betting on you tonight because, man, you were up front all night long. Just, did you think you were going to put this thing in victory lane? That was a wild finish.
Man. No, honestly, I didn't. My goal was just to finish top 5. Unfortunately, where I've been all season. I had a couple chances of win, before that. But Auto Club is not really my best track. But when they kind of got into it a little bit, the 2 leaders at the time, I just saw a hole and I went for it and was hoping that EJ would push from behind, and he did. He gave me a nice little bump going into 1. Then the caution came out, so it just kind of fell in my hands for once.
Absolutely.
For the season.
And that's what you got to do sometimes. But well, you're definitely good because you're up front. You had a fast machine all night long. I don't say that, but sometimes lucky on top of that. And definitely the luck fell there for you, and you were able to just close the gap, put it in victory lane, win it tonight here. I know you're not in the chase, but man, it's good to win races.
Oh, absolutely. I have not won a race with these group of guys all season. So, and I did come in late, so that's probably part of it. So I was a little behind coming in, trying to understand the setups and how exactly to really race these trucks again. But man, it finally feels good to finally get that monkey off our back. During practice, we were decent. I didn't really feel we were top 5, maybe top 10. But as the run went on, I started to get a feel for exactly what I needed to do and how to enter the corners and which lanes to drive. So, like you said, it kind of just came together, and it obviously came together at the right time because the seeds parted, and I went for it.
Oh, absolutely. Like you just said, man, you're coming out here and they can't take the win away from you because you put it in victory lane at Auto Club. But the WCIparts.com truck series here, you got anybody you want to thank for it?
Yeah, definitely got to thank RacingBiz.com. Great sponsor. They have a Facebook page. Please check them out. They do auctions on all different types of motorsports memorabilia. So check them out. Also want to thank Commodore's Garage. They are a great source. They're also on Facebook. Great source for learning how to build setups with iRacing or just understanding shocks and setups and that type of stuff. So they're a great source as well. We got to thank you guys for broadcasting. Got to thank WCI for sponsoring the league. Got to thank my guys that help me out every week. My family and the man upstairs.
Man, I tell you what, that's good. Good one right there. And again, congratulations on that win tonight here, Brendan.
All right, thanks.
All right, there you go. The man puts it in victory lane. Let's get the unofficial results orders. Brandon Bowie does win it tonight. EJ right there in second. Silver up to third. Trey Etzen to fourth. JD Laird ends up fifth. Chad Cole down to sixth. Kevin Brown to seventh. Mike Matesi to eighth. Nick Timms to ninth. And Jason Jabucky, he bounces back up to get the top 10s. Look to the rest of it. Well, it was a hard hit for some chase drivers here tonight. Some capitalized on it, but we got one more race left. before the round of 4 goes to Homestead.
Yeah, so that the one that really hurt on that last lap literally off of turn 4 was Tommy Ryan with his contact. Goes from running around that top 10 position, dropping down to 21st, and unfortunately it shows in the points now. He is 24 points out of the lead, and kind of just goes to show you, give him those like say 11, 14, or sorry, yeah, about 11 or so points, and he'd be still right in the thick of it. So with that amazing recovery on that last restart, Trey Edson still holds onto the points lead by 1 point over Chad Cole. Nick Silver moves up 3 spots into the 3rd position in points, 8 out of the lead. Justin Fuller 9 points out of the lead, and EJ O'Rourke is 10 points out of the lead. So right now there's a 1 point position between getting in and getting out after Phoenix between Fuller and EJ. Whereas Macklin, Coleman, and Tommy Ryan, they're all about 10 points out of it, because they're 20, 23, and 24 out of the lead respectively. So basically just about 10 points out of that 4th cutoff position. So they're going to have their work cut out for them next week at Phoenix. It's going to definitely be difficult, but again, Phoenix it's another short track basically. So anything can happen there. So you got that really big sweeping back, well, now front stretch, but I think still in this game it'll be the back stretch where you can run the apron all the way to the inside wall if you want to. So yeah, that's going to be definitely an exciting one to keep an eye out for next week.
Absolutely, and the Phoenix is usually one of those races that can be a wild card when a lot of disaster can happen there too. So it'll be interesting to see. Tune in next Wednesday, to check out who the 4 drivers will compete and go to Homestead, as we're going to leave tonight here from Auto Club. It was an exciting, wild one here. Myself and Gael, everyone, have a good night.